Hello, I'm Hyun. You can call me Esther, that's my English name. I'm 15 years old, and today I'm going to tell you about a family history of one of the royal family members of Korea's last dynasty, better than the drama. Today's main character is the fifth king of Korea's last dynasty. First, let's see who that is. He was born at 1414 and became a crown prince at 1421 and was a crown prince until 1450. So he was a crown prince for 30 years. He finally became king at 1450 as the fifth king of Korea's last dynasty. But only after 2 years he became king. He died at 1452. When he died, he was 39 years old. Even at the time, it was a young age to die. Why did he die in such a young age? That's because his health became worse during his father, the fourth king's 3-year funeral, and died 2 years after he became king. But he did politics instead of the sick fourth king for 7 years, so his real period of politics is 9 years. He was the last king to lead the golden age of early days of Korea's last dynasty. During his 2 years of king, he was eager to develop weapons. He invented a rocket-type arrow fired by gunpowder. It was like today's nuclear bomb at that time. He perfectly embodied the firing process and how to handle the unexploded bombs. He was also interested and was good at studying agriculture and science, so he invented an instrument for measuring precipitations. It was important for them because Korea's last dynasty was an agriculture country, so raining was very important. And he loved his people, so he made a policy to relieve the poor by lend them grain when they have no crops and let them return them when they harvest. When you look at the record, it is said that he was very handsome. The aesthetic standard is different from nowadays, so it is said that he had large physique and a very rich beard. When he was 12, at the banquet to entertain ambassadors of China, the ambassadors praised his appearance. But his wife luck was terrible. He married 3 times but divorced 2 of them when he was a crown prince. His wife was decided by his father, the king, and the royal elders like they used to do. His first wife was very true and nice, but she was ugly. Maybe because of that, he didn't even look at her. The jealous wife used all sort of slander to get attention from her husband, the crown prince. For example, she took the court ladies' shoes and burned them to make them ash and fed them to the crown prince. She heard that, in this way, she could get the crown prince's love. But she was caught doing this and was divorced. The second wife was beautiful, but like the first wife, when the crown prince gave her less and less attention, her personality ruined. She often hit the court ladies, and she was drunk a lot of times. When the king ordered not to give her a drink, she even went to her private house to fetch some drinks. And she was a bisexual person, so at that time it was very shocking and thought it was not the right thing. So she was divorced. But it was never possible that the next king, the crown prince, could not have a son. It was his responsibility to make the next king. But already 2 wives were divorced, so the king decided to make one of the concubines as his wife. So one of the concubines, who was close to the crown prince, became his wife. Gladly, 2 of them had a fine line, But his wife died right after she gave birth to a child. This child is the future sixth king. But getting a new wife for the crown prince didn't work out, and even after he became king, he didn't get married. So he is the only king that doesn't have a queen in Korea's last dynasty. But this became a problem. As you can see, the fifth king got his son at his late days of his life, and he died early. So his son became king at the age of 12. It is a very young age, and usually when the king is young, the royal elders, usually the king's mother, helps the king with his politics. But as I said before, the sixth king's mother died right after the sixth king was born. So there was no one to help the young sixth king. So after living like a scarecrow for 3 years, and at 1455, he was removed from the throne by his ambitious uncle. In the end, those who want to reinstate him as king are caught by his uncle, and he died at the age of 17 by his uncle, and his uncle became the seventh king. If the fifth king got a new wife, then the tragedy of the sixth king might not happen.